Hi guys, Dave Anderson here, Helicool Helipad. Welcome to part 2. And you know what? While I still clean up, you enjoy this video because it is a real life problem that happened to one of the members coming out here to the event, and it was fixed on site. You guys won't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Tell me the symptoms you're having when you drive your truck. What do you notice that we were talking about this yesterday?
Okay. Yeah. Under a heavy load, a lot of acceleration, a lot of consistent uphill climbs, temperature gauge will raise.
Yep.
Back it off, temperature gauge will come back down.
But what temperatures are you seeing on your gauge?
So normally it's around city driving 165, get on the load, it goes up to about 210, 220, and then it'll oscillate up and down based upon how I drive.
Okay. So something that the LMTV community should know is that you should never see temperatures going past, I want to say 210. It'll vary between gauges because these trucks are old and stuff like that. But if your needle is going past 210 and your dash light is flashing the over temp warning, there's a problem there that a lot of people don't know about. And it has to do with a very simple fan control solenoid. If your fan is not turning on when you're getting around 200, 210, there's definitely a problem that you want to take a look at.
How do you know the fan's turning on or off?
You'll hear it. It sounds like a freight train. You'll hear the clutch engage.
Perfect.
And the fan will turn on for 10 to 20 seconds and then it will shut off. If you don't hear that and your temp gauge keeps going up and you're seeing a red flashing light on the dash, you definitely want to get this fixed. So we're going to show you today how to diagnose, go through and fix all this stuff. This is a Parker part that came from France. I had to order 2 of these. I kept one for myself and I gave one to Dave, and Dave is now donating, or whatever you two work out a deal.
For the mission.
Whatever you do. And I have not physically installed one of these yet, and I think it's a variable valve, so it has a normally closed or selectable normally open valve on it. And then the wiring is a little bit different. So this will be experimental, but we will get it to work, obviously. So as long as your wiring harness isn't corroded to the point where it's not getting power, then we have to do a bunch of digging, but I don't think it's going to be at that point. I guess the first thing we'll do is to show people how to know if it's working or not. And there's a very simple test that you can do. So what I'm going to have Bill do is start his truck up and let the tanks fill up, and then he's going to shut the truck off. So get your tanks to fill up, your purge valve to blow, and then after that, I'll show you how to diagnose this. Okay, so here's your fan control solenoid valve right here. And the easiest way to test this is to fill the air tanks on your truck till your purge valve activates. And then what I'm gonna have Bill do is turn the power on and then off without starting the truck. When you turn the power off, this valve should purge. If it doesn't, there's a problem. So go ahead. It's not purging. You guys hear that?
Hear a click, but no purge.
There's no purge when he turns the truck off. So this valve is either not getting power or the coil inside it is bad. And they go bad after a while because it has something to do with the magnetism and the spring and stuff like that. They just get worn out or not used enough and activated enough. So what we're gonna do, first thing I'm gonna do is disconnect the wiring harness from it. And I'm going to test to make sure that that's getting power, and then we'll go from there. I've disconnected the harness from the solenoid valve, and you see it sitting right here. And right now we're just going to check for voltage to make sure that that is actually receiving voltage and the wiring harness is in good shape. If you're getting voltage on this, when the power turns on, your harness is doing what it's supposed to be doing and providing power to that. So go ahead. And see, we've got 26 volts when he turns it on, and then when you turn it off, it goes away. So we know the wiring is good. Now, the problem is the solenoid valve is locked up or shot. The magnetism in it is shot. So a lot of people think you need to take this whole assembly down, which is a mistake I made, and it takes 45 minutes longer to do that. the only thing holding this on are 2 screws, and they're going to be opposite of each other. So it'll either be these 2 or these 2. And if you start taking it apart and it starts separating here between the gray and the black, you took the wrong screws out. You want it to separate from the valve body or the pass-through where the air goes through, the air lines go into, and it'll come out right there. So I'm gonna make an educated guess here, and it's gonna be that one. You heard the valve actually released at that point.
That's the sound you should probably hear when you turn it on, huh?
Yes. So a lot of times if this is failing, you can pull this panel and your passenger can tap on this with a wrench just to make sure that you're getting the solenoid valve to turn on. That's a temporary fix to get home. That's not going to solve everything. The one thing you want to do before you change this out is dump your air out of your tanks.
I'll go do that now.
Because it's going to blow all the O-rings out all over the place if you don't dump the air out of the tanks. So I'm going to have Bill dump the tanks, and then we'll come back and we'll install this one, and then we'll do a test again.
I should have sat over here and you did that last night when it was so hot.
Right? Yeah. Just blow cold air on you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we drained the tanks. There's still residual air left in the lines, but that's okay. That'll bleed off here as I take this out. But it won't be a never-ending supply of air hitting me in the face. So we'll let that bleed off a bit here. There shouldn't be much left. And to be honest with you guys, I have no idea what makes these fail. They just do. I had 2 used ones that I tried that didn't work. And then Dave gave me another one that actually works really well. So now I have a spare in case that one goes bad. But there's just no rhyme or reason that these fail. Sometimes there's sand or grit or dirt in them. And you can clean them up. But, you know, in my case, that didn't work. So I had to take an alternate route and try to find a solution. So this is what they look like on the inside. There's a couple of O-rings on there and then a bleed hole. What we're going to do is we're going to take the new Parker valve and we're going to install that, and then we're going to do some tests to see what the correct position is to get this to actuate. So I'm just taking this off of the valve body or the airline connector here, and then we're going to install it on Bill's truck, connect the wiring to it, have him fill up the air tanks again by running the truck till it purges, and then we'll do some testing to get this thing to actuate, and then it should be good to go. Shouldn't have any more problems probably for the rest of your life with this brand new valve in.
And it's a Parker, so they're both good.
Yeah, it's Parker. So this can go on either way. It doesn't matter, just as long as you have screw holes to line up. I'm going to put it on this way because I think it'll be easier to change the terminals around if we have them backwards or whatever the case may be, because there's 3 terminals on this. And I believe since this is adjustable, I'm guessing this is adjustable, that we're going to have to use one pair or the other pair to get this thing to work correctly. And I won't know what that is until we test it. You want to make sure that your O-rings are in there and they're getting seated as you turn these screws. If they don't get seated correctly, you'll probably have a leak when you start the truck up, and you don't want a leak. Okay, so we got that connected, and I'm just guessing that we're going to use these 2 terminals. I'm going to connect this, and then we'll have Bill run the air tanks back up and go from there. Go ahead, Bill. So we're going to see if the valve actuates right now by him turning the power on and off. And
On.
Do it again.
Off. On.
Okay, it's not doing it, so here's what we're going to do.
Okay, off.
I'm gonna swap terminals on this. That'll be the first thing we do.
There it goes. Off. On.
You're in business. Okay, so for anybody watching, this valve should stay in the normal position. This is some sort of a service open or something like that. I guess it's not a normally closed, normally open. But your wire colors, right here, if you're looking at the valve, you got your blue towards the back and your brown towards the front. And that should make this actuate. You want to do it one more time, Bill?
So, going on?
Yep.
It's on.
There you go.
It's off.
So now you have a fully functioning fan controlled solenoid valve by using a Parker replacement that should last a lifetime. Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good job, you guys.
Oh, what's going to be the verdict here? What do you think, Dave? Sand?
I think it's no. I think it's going to be
Just
corrosion.
old out.
Wore out.
Okay.
So they also, people know about that, and that's
Well, I don't see any corrosion in it whatsoever, which is the same thing on mine that both of them failed. So it has to do something with the magnetism that's inside this. It just doesn't work as efficiently anymore. I still haven't figured out why it does that. It's probably just because of age and been sitting in the truck and not used. So there you go.
I know what you're thinking. Dave's going to tease us and not reveal the name. Well, here we go. So we just removed the name. There's a big reveal. What is it? What is it? Could it be? That's it.
And what is Frank's short for?
What is Frank short for?
Frankenstein.
Ah,
Because he's built out of at least 5 different trucks.
nice. And Frankenstein, or Frank's, just got here yesterday. And how long have you owned it?
Less than 24 hours.
So the first day you owned it, you drove to an expedition or
We
an
drove
event.
to Dave Anderson's place.
Oh, okay.
Naturally.
Okay. I think that is a perfect way to spend your first day owning the vehicle. I'd like to thank Bill Sands for providing his truck, and especially thank Sean Fillner for giving such awesome instruction and sharing his expertise. He really is an outstanding supporter of the FMTV community and a wealth of information and a treasure to me as a friend. Thanks so much, Sean. Next time on Helicool's Helipad, part 3 of the FMTV Roundup continues with this awesome favorite from Broke Overland, Chad Lynch. Until then, you guys be safe out there, and God bless.